All right, let's talk about a pretty radical idea today. What if instead of constantly chasing goals, you could actually engineer an identity that makes success, well, inevitable? It's all about shifting from doing something to being someone. And trust me, it changes the entire game. So let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of this whole thing. What if your biggest problem isn't the goals you're setting, but becoming the kind of person who naturally achieves them? We pour so much energy into the what, but what if the real secret is in the who? So first, let's break down the problem, what I like to call the goal-setting trap. It's this cycle that so many of us are stuck in, and a lot of the time, we don't even realize why our best laid plans just fizzle out. We're all taught to set SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, all that stuff. And they look fantastic on paper, but they have this one critical flaw. They almost always rely on external motivation. That initial burst of excitement you feel for the outcome, it's like a sugar rush. It feels great, but it always fades. And this leads to what we can call the identity gap. It's that really uncomfortable feeling you get when you set some huge goal, like, say, writing a novel, but your current identity, your day-to-day self, is still someone who puts things off. You're basically trying to achieve something that your current self just isn't wired for. And this, right here, illustrates the difference perfectly. Run a marathon is a goal. It's a finite event. Once you cross that finish line, then what? But become a runner, well, that's an identity. It's an ongoing way of being that shapes your choices every single day. So, if traditional goal setting is the trap, what's the escape plan? Well, that brings us to the identity-first paradigm. This is where we completely flip the script from just doing things to actually being someone. At its core, the identity-first paradigm means you stop focusing on the effect, that goal way out in the distance, and you start engineering the cause, which is your identity. You build the person for whom those amazing outcomes are just a natural byproduct of who they are. Just let that sink in for a second. You can force yourself to do things for a little while, sure, but real, sustainable success, that comes from who you are. It's the difference between using brute force and just being in natural alignment with your goals. And this is where the magic really happens. This shift creates this incredible compounding effect. Think about it. A person who truly identifies as financially responsible doesn't have to fight themselves to save money. It just becomes the easy, natural thing to do. The right actions become the path of least resistance. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually put it into practice? Building a new identity isn't just about wishful thinking. It's an engineering project. So let's look at the actual blueprint for your future self. And the good news is, this is a manageable, systematic process. It really boils down to 3 core pillars: analyzing the traits you need, challenging the old beliefs that are holding you back, and then engineering the habits that will make that new identity real. It all starts with getting crystal clear on the what. What are the essential traits of the person you want to become? Is it discipline, creativity, resilience? And then comes the internal work. You've got to weed out those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back and start planting a new, much more empowering story. Okay, let's get our hands dirty. Here are a few really simple but powerful tools you can start using, like today, to begin engineering your new identity. The first tool is what's called the future self exercise. And look, this isn't just daydreaming. This is about getting incredibly specific. I mean, take out a journal and write in vivid detail about this person. What's the first thing they think about when they wake up? How do they handle a tough conversation? What does their average Tuesday look like? Next up, we have micro actions. See, your brain learns from proof, not from your promises. So you have to feed it tiny daily pieces of evidence that you are this new person. The key is to make these actions so small that it's almost impossible not to do them. I want you to think of every tiny action you take as casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're not just laying out your gym clothes. You're casting a vote for, I am a disciplined person. You're not just reading one page. You're casting a vote for, I am a learner. Every single action is another piece of evidence that reinforces your new identity. All right, so once you've started building this momentum, casting these votes, how do you make it stick? How do you go from engineering an identity to just living it and making that success you want inevitable? Well, this is where the whole system starts to become self-reinforcing. Every single time you act in line with your new identity and you see a positive result, no matter how small, It strengthens that identity. It creates this amazing feedback loop where your actions reinforce your beliefs, and then your beliefs drive your next actions. And maybe the most important part of all of this is what happens during the tough times. When you're just chasing a goal, one failure can make you want to quit everything. But when your identity is that of a runner, one bad run doesn't change who you are. You just get up the next day and run again because, well, that's what runners do. So we'll leave you with this thought. Your future isn't some prize to be won or a goal to be achieved. It's an identity to be built, brick by brick, with every small choice you make. So the only real question left is, who will you start becoming today?